never ever get old. This is just the best thing ever. Hello one and all, and welcome to Seeing Through Glass. Today, Pirelli have invited me down to Salon Privé, arguably one of the nicest and biggest car events that happens in the UK each year. I think this year it has a chance to be the biggest car show that happens in the UK. Because there's been no Geneva Motor Show or Goodwood Festival of Speed, it feels like a lot of manufacturers are choosing Salon Privé to reveal or at least do their UK debut of some of their latest and greatest supercars. I'm expecting to see the Ferrari SF90, the Bentley Bacalar, the Koenigsegg Gemera, the Bugatti Chiron Sport. There's also a very interesting McLaren I want to go and check out. Yes, me wanting to check out a McLaren, it's happening. Anyway, as you can see, it's a beautiful day. I'm in the 360, I'm going to put the windows back down and head on my way to Salon Privé. Let's go! Forgive my kind of ninja-like stance, but it's ridiculously windy here, and this camera has already been blown over 3 times. So I'm standing here like this so I can kind of catch it. I can intercept it in case a big gust of wind comes over and tries to knock it over one more time. Anyway, welcome inside the amazing Salon Privé event in front of the stunning Blenheim Palace. I'm currently camped out in front of the Pirelli stand where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time today, but I'm also going to be spending a lot of time just ogling the incredible cars on display. Before we do that together, I want to address the fact that I'm wearing a mask. Yes, here in the UK, a lot of sort of COVID restrictions have been increased recently, but this event has had the necessary go-aheads and approvals from local authorities and councils, etc., so that it can happen in as COVID-friendly or safe way as possible. Loads of sanitisation stands all over the place. People are really practicing social distancing, lots of other people wearing masks. It may mean I sound a bit muffled every now and again, but let's just look past it, let's enjoy ourselves, and yes, let's check out some amazing cars. Well, hello. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time I've filmed an SF90. I've seen it quite a few times now, actually, at the end of last year in Abu Dhabi around the F1 and various other kind of events, but I think this is the first time I've got one on camera. I actually am really not a fan of this launch spec, very LaFerrari with the red and black roof. I've seen some mock-ups of other specs and it looks amazing. I'm so intrigued by this car because that kind of video they did around Monaco with Charles Leclerc kind of made it look slightly dull, I have to say, but it is fundamentally faster than a LaFerrari, so this thing should be insane. A half-price hypercar from Ferrari, very cool to see. Pop down to McLaren, we've got the 765 LT, the 620R, but I actually want to come and look at this, the Elva. Now obviously we know that Ferrari have the Monza, Aston Martin have got their kind of, what do they call it, the Speedster, V12 Speedster or something? I need to check that. But this is McLaren's attempt at the sort of roofless 2-seater track car. I mean, I'm guessing it's a track car. You don't want to drive around the road with a helmet on, do you? But I don't know. I mean, it's very similar to Monza. It's got a kind of McLaren flair to it, but yeah. I think most of you know that last year I fell in love with the Bentley Continental GT, and in fact there's the new Mulliner Continental GT just over there. We'll go and check that out in a second, but first I want to see this, the Bacalar, because this thing launched last year whilst I was away for Drive the World and I haven't had a chance to see it yet until now, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. I have seen the car which inspired many elements of this thing, the EXP 100 GT, the insane concept that Bentley unveiled for their 100th anniversary. Well, that concept was so popular, looked so amazing, I think Bentley thought, heck, we've got to build this thing because I think we have customers for it right now. So the Bacalar was kind of born. Just 12 of these are going to get made, £1.5 million each, and under the hood is still that 6-litre W12 that we're quite familiar with, but uprated slightly to make this a 200-mile-an-hour super custom bespoke 2-seater roofless super grand tourer supercar. I don't really know how to describe it, but whilst it is insanely impressive like this, it's actually all in the details. So let me come and grab the camera, walk you around and try and point out as many of those details as possible. So what I love is that from the front, this is obviously very recognisable as a Bentley, but lots of sort of changes, mainly to the headlights, which, as I say, really take inspiration from that EXP 100 GT. Not quite as insane, but huge old front grille, big old intakes down there as well on the sort of front bumper. And then you've got a sort of bronzed goldish Bentley badge. Huge wheels on this, new design for the Bacalar, obviously fitted with Pirelli P0s. Massive brakes as well, which you think you might need for a 200 mile an hour car this kind of, well, big. Inside, things get even more insane. Obviously built in partnership with Mulliner, so all the sort of details, the leathers, some of the materials used are incredible. And what I love is, can you see those suitcases, the luggage cases for the car? And we come round to the back and look at these tail lights, just the detail of them are absolutely insane. So yes, a mad thing to see, not a concept car, a real legit £1.5 million Bentley. I mean, it's just a good old glorious Bentley, and I think it's absolutely mega. Now, I think most of you know I'm not the biggest McLaren Senna fan, mainly because of the way it looks, but I'm quite intrigued by this. This is the all-new, super rare, super limited McLaren Senna GTR LM. It's all about celebrating the 1995 victory of the McLaren F1 GTR at the Le Mans 24-hour race. Now, each of the 5 Senna GTR LMs have the same liveries as the 5 F1 GTRs that took part in that 1995 race. But the cool thing is, this isn't a sticker livery. This has been painted by McLaren. It took over 800 hours for McLaren to paint this livery. And when you look at all the sort of details and notice things like that Harrods logo and think that was painted, it's quite nuts. But it's not just a livery, this car. There is actually an increase in power from 813 horsepower in the standard Senna GTR. It goes up to 833, some different lightweight components in the engine. They also increased the actual rev limiter from 8,250 RPM up to 9,000 RPM. Some other nice little details, the wheels replaced to be kind of F1 style wheels, sitting on some, of course, beautiful Pirelli tyres made specially for the Senna GTR. And then inside, got some gold elements, referencing, of course, the iconic gold elements of the F1. So yes, all in all, as a thing, as a sort of collector's item, kind of give this one a bit of a thumbs up. It's wacky, it's quirky, but I quite like it. Now, this is a very quirky car. I just spoke to Max Gerardo, the man in the know, if you don't know, Gerardo & Co, about what this actually is, because I'd never seen one before and he was walking past, so I grabbed him. It's a Lamborghini Silhouette, the first ever GTS, you can see pop-off roof, Lambo. It's got a V8 engine in it, and the really cool, interesting story, which I didn't know, is back in the day, Pirelli made a tyre called the P7, a very racy tyre, like their sort of Trofeo R of back in the 70s, and Lambo basically built this car to extract the sort of maximum performance of the tyre. I mean, it's kind of mad, but kind of cool. I've never seen it before. It's very small, very un-Lambo, but some nice heritage. Unfortunately, not on Pirelli's right now, so they only need to get that sorted, because clearly not maximising this package. You now find me at the Furlonger stand, and just like the dealership, there are some amazing cars on display, including this F12 TDF, but this is no ordinary F12 TDF. In fact, it could be the most important TDF that Ferrari made. It started its life as a prototype. It was used in some early unveilings and demonstration runs. In fact, Sebastian Vettel drove this thing during a Finale Mondiale event with ex-Ferrari CEO Sergio Marchionne in the passenger seat. After those kind of initial unveilings, it then headed to the UK, where it became the Ferrari UK press car. So some of you may recognise it from shots of Chris Harris and the like sliding it around. So after all that sort of initial press and unveilings, it then headed back to Maranello to go into the museum, where it sat for a while being admired by visitors like me. Then a few years later, Piero Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari's grandson, asked Ferrari if he could buy the car to go into one of his charity auctions, and after a bit of back and forth, Ferrari said, well, you know what, no, why don't we actually give you the car, and even better than that, we'll put it back on the production line and make it the one and only 120th anniversary of Enzo's birth car. So it's a prototype, but also the 120th anniversary edition TDF. It's sort of quite unbelievable. So yes, it was eventually auctioned off, and now it's ended up here on the Furlonger stand. And whilst the spec isn't necessarily that different to any other TDF you might have seen, it's a stunning triple layered yellow with relatively rare diamond cut wheels and even rarer fixed bucket seats rather than the more popular, what would that be called? Movable bucket seats. It's the history and the heritage that makes this thing so special, and I think so important. And for a Ferrari nerd like me, history, heritage, a story is everything you want from a modern limited edition Ferrari. Very cool to see. what an absolutely insane day. Huge thanks to Pirelli for inviting me down and for getting me all the access they did to the various cars that I ended up filming. I'm kind of exhausted in a really good way. Whenever I come to these events, all I do is walk away going, oh, I really want to buy a new car, which I shouldn't do. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I feel like I've learned a lot coming to this event. So yes, give the video a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you stay subscribed for plenty more videos to come.